Body modification isn't dominant in American physical appearance. Americans, I think it's a global view that Americans aren't very open to anything beyond American borders.
There are certainly a lot of people who cringe at seeing a lot of metal on somebody's face.
The bad experiences that I had was with Americans. I had an American woman with a southern accent that came up to me in a 7-Eleven. She told me that if her daughter came home looking like me, that she would disown her, and then she actually spit on the ground.
But a lot of other people get kind of they're not used to that, they don't see it as hard, they don't see it that way, and it freaks them out. And that just comes with the territory. I just think if you're going to do it, you just have to. You can't change the world.
I remember them the first time around, and it was just kind of a biker thing. You know, it was biker and Navy guys that got tattoos, and it's become a completely different cycle. But I think, you know, as time goes on, it'll probably become more normal. And
the idea of a bigger world where people do whatever they want is kind of frightening to them. So the American way is to react to it violently and brutally.
Dress is considered to be speech, which is a good thing, because we don't have freedom of dress on the First Amendment, we have freedom of speech. So the Supreme Court has decided that how you dress yourself is a form of speech, right? It's a form of art, as you say.
I've seen kind of this general categorization of body art, and it seems to be ritualistic reasons. So it's performed as some type of ceremony or a spiritual guide or something like that, a rite of passage. So now you've entered into this stage of your life and you're documenting that stage. Aesthetic reasons, so you think it's pretty to be modified.
I was getting my piercings and my tattoos, and they all had like deep significance to not only like where I had been in my life, but where I was going. For me, it wasn't a change of myself. It was more of like a journey of self-discovery and kind of an outward manifestation of not feeling like everybody else inside, and eventually coming to grips with the reality that if I feel different inside, then why should I look like everyone else outside? People really want everybody to look the same and be the same. Continue that attitude to not be individuals and to just get whatever people want us to wear or look like or drive or anything, then we're going to be looking the same. I think more and more people are waking up to the idea that it's okay to look however they want. I think they want us to say, oh, well, I'm 30-something, I got to get to work, time to remove the piercings and time to forget about who I was trying to be and do what the world thinks I need to do. And I think that's a very like unrealistic perspective of life, and as long as we keep falling into that cycle, we're not going to evolve.
Modern forms of piercing, I think, are more of a self-expression and, you know, being able to adorn your body and use different types of ornaments that might mean something to you personally. They might have some type of aesthetic reason. They might have a family heritage aspect. They might have a status symbol aspect. Traditionally, it was more of a rite of passage. You've reached a certain level in your life and you can now show off this ornamentation.
I personally wouldn't want to be wearing the clothes I was wearing when I was 18, so would I want to have on my arms the things I was thinking about when I was 18, so for everyone to see, maybe not.
A worst case scenario, like I get somebody in here that says, well, I have to hide this piercing at work because it doesn't look professional. And the first thing that I think about is like, well, I'm a professional, you know, do I not look professional?
And it depends on the industry that you're in. I mean, you kind of expect to see it in certain industries. If you see a drummer in a rock band, you know, it's not that shocking to see him tatted up. I think if you were to go to see your attorney and he rolled his sleeves up and he had tattoos all over him, you might have a little second problem with professionalism of what he's doing. So I think it has a lot to do with the situation that they're in.
It's more prevalent in our culture. You open up any fashion magazine and the models have piercings and or tattoos. And what needs to be understood and what needs to be said is that this is not anything new that's going on. We are undoing what was taken away from our humanity, and we are starting to feel better about expressing ourselves on ourselves instead of just in another way that isn't as culturally significant.
Again, in the artistic community, if you're working, in music or you're working in film, in the creative department, in an advertising agency, I think there is more latitude for that, and I think it would be less unexpected to see, somebody, even on the client side, to see somebody with perhaps a tattoo or body piercing.
I personally don't have a problem with piercings and tattoos. I do have a problem with piercings here because we have a rule that was well established by people who really thought about it, and our board voted on it.
I mean, let's face it, straightening one's teeth with braces is a very, how do you say, extreme body modification. Like having some fat sucked out of your ass is a body modification. Having both, your lips getting injected so that they're bigger is a body modification. And that is completely accepted, and it sounds like a lot more bizarre as a surgical procedure.
There is evidence of tattooing as old as 5,000 years ago on the Iceman, which is a frozen mummified corpse that was found in the Alps. And he dates back to about 3,300 BC, and he had tattoos on his body, and they were on parts of his body where he was suffering from arthritis and other ailments in his skeletal remains. They can see that evidence of injury or arthritis, and the tattoos were placed over those parts of his skeleton, and so they think that they were more of a curative or a protective type of practice.
The tattoo industry, as well as our industry, the piercing industry, has made leaps and bounds as far as in implementing medical procedure and sterilization techniques to ensure the safety of not only the clients but the practitioner. Yet, when they go give blood, the Red Cross will not accept a blood donation from somebody that has been tattooed within a year. More people are becoming aware of their cultural birthrights and their right, their right to become modified and to undergo the ritual that eventually leads to that physical appearance. What's going to be more significant, the periods when we were wearing our jewelry and adorning our bodies, or the periods when we weren't?